Pages. Pages are in books.
Books have pages. But do you know what has pages and is a book?
The Neverending Story is a book with pages. But what page is the most important? You see, most of the time in books, chapters or events can shift a book, completely change its plot. Rarely is there ever a book where one page can do that. But you see, The Neverending Story is anything but an ordinary book. It is one of the most extraordinary books I've ever read. And there's one page in particular that completely changes the book. From beyond that point of that page, it is a completely different plot. You see, sometime before 2005, Michael Ende, or Michael Ende, that's how I say it in my head, created this book called The Neverending Story.
Guess what? Well, it does end. It's kind of disappointing, actually. The book ends, even though it says it's a never-ending story.
The book The Neverending Story follows this kid named Bastian Balthazar Bucks. I would describe him as the human version of a potato. He's pathetic, shy, awkward, and completely, not even a bit, but completely a loser. Bastian one day decides to steal this book, also called The Neverending Story, and runs away and reads it in his school's attic. As we are reading this book, we can also read Bastian's thoughts and feelings. So while we're reading, we can read Bastian's thoughts and feelings and the book he's reading. So it's like 3 books we're reading right now. As a reader, we slowly learn about the world of Fantastica and how one character is very pivotal to the world of Fantastica. That character is the childlike empress. The childlike empress's well-being is connected to Fantastica's well-being. But one day, there's something called the nothing that comes around. The nothing is something that is slowly eating away at Fantastica and is making the childlike empress very sick. And if the childlike empress dies, well, Fantastica goes. Later on, we're introduced to the character named Atreyu. He is chosen to go on a quest by the childlike empress to save her. We read Bastian's thoughts and feelings and Atreyu's quest, and that goes on for a solid chunk of the book. Until eventually, Atreyu learns that the childlike empress must be saved by giving her a new name. But not anyone in Fantastica. It has to be a human. And while this is being said, Bastian's like, I'm human, I can save her, ree! Atreyu eventually comes back and tells the childlike empress of this news. The childlike empress just pretty much directly talks about Bastian and how this whole time he's been following him on this quest. And then eventually, it leads to the most confusing and convoluted and dumb part of the story I've ever read. So, the Old Man of Wandering Mountain, he's a character in this book. And he's a character inside the book that we're reading about this dude reading a book. And that dude owns the book that he's reading, and he knows about this dude who's reading it. But it's dumb. Why couldn't he just make it so much more simple? Like, honestly, just make this guy just like all-knowing. And this leads me to my point. I believe that page 199 is without a doubt the most influential and important page of this book. Page 199 is the most important and influential page for 3 reasons. Reason 1, this is the first time we ever read Bastian's new name for the childlike empress, which is Moonchild. As a reader, we read, he suddenly cried out, Moonchild, I'm coming. And we can infer that this will save the childlike empress because Bastian has finally thought of a new name for her. Second reason, Bastian goes inside the book. Bastian literally just he's inside the book now. But it never explicitly tells us, but as a reader, we can infer. After Bastian yells and screams out, Moonchild, I'm coming, the book describes, it blew from the pages of the book that Bastian was holding on his knee. And the pages began to flutter wildly. Bastian felt the wind in his hair and face. He could scarcely breathe. The candle flames in the 7 army candelabrum danced, wavered, and lay flat. Then another, still more violent wind blew into his book, and the candles went out. The clock in the belfry struck 12. As a reader, we can also infer that he just went in the book. Because it makes no sense. Where'd that wind come from? Like, he's inside a school attic. Like, last time I checked, wind can't get in a school attic if it's closed. Like, phew. And finally, Bastian does something with his pathetic potato life. This is the first time we ever see Bastian really do anything. This is so incredibly important to the story because this is the first time he truly interacts with Fantastica. Everything else was subtle hints here and there. This is the first time we actually see he interact with Fantastica. After this page, there are 3 massive immediate effects. One of those effects is Fantastica is just gone. It's just a restarted universe. It's blank, it's nothing, it's just him and the childlike empress. And even then, the childlike empress just dips and just goes away. A second immediate effect is the childlike empress gives the power of the Aran to him. The power of the Aran gives Bastion the ability to do as he wishes, as it's inscribed. Because of this leads to the third immediate effect. Bastion goes Coco. Bastion becomes completely crazy with power and completely paranoid. After page 199, all of Bastion's actions can be rooted from that page. Page 199 sets all of this up. I believe that page 199 is the most influential and important page because this is the first page Bastion gives the childlike empress her new name, which is Moonchild. Bastion goes inside the book, and Bastion directly affects Fantastica. And because of this page, the immediate effects is that Fantastica is restarted, Bastion is given the Aran, and then Bastion's actions beyond this book can be stemmed from this page. And so, I hope that you can agree with me. And also, please give me an A. That'd really help.